All right, Dr. Lil, what's going
Corey,
on?
how are you today?
Doing great. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Feeling really
Excited
good.
for our second episode?
Very excited. Yeah,
I
it's
can't
been
believe.
super busy.
Yeah?
Busy. Yeah.
You've been doing some big projects behind the scenes?
A lot of big projects behind the scenes. Yeah, just to make sure that I'm cutting edge. You know,
You're always cutting edge. You don't ever skip a beat in this community, okay?
I'm trying. It was pretty cool that I was actually recognized by ASMBS, American Society for Metabolic and Bariatric Surgery, and won the Distinguished Service Award.
Wow.
And it was given to me by the president of ASMBS. It was quite the honor.
Round of applause for Dr. Lil in the comments.
And then I was honored again with the Distinguished Service Award from the Integrated Health Leadership Council.
Wow.
It was pretty cool.
That's amazing.
I've worked over 25 years in this field, not just as a practitioner, but also as an educator, researcher, being part of the professional association to make sure that I can really affect how we talk to patients, how we treat patients, nutrition research, et cetera. So to be recognized, it was pretty cool, I have to say.
Isn't that a good feeling to finally reach the pinnacle of your career?
Yeah.
Some people don't even get to say that they can do that,
Right. Right.
You've touched so many lives, you helped so many people, and then now you get this award, well, 2 awards, and now it's just like,
just add to
look
the
at
list.
you, just
Look
add it
at
to the
me.
list, right?
But you know why? It's because patients like you inspire me so much. Everything that I do is for the betterment of my patient, right?
Right.
I mean, I know that we're friends, we're family, but just to see how well you're doing and how you inspire others, if I can play a small part in that, it's just very cool.
No, you've helped me in so many ways, like how I tell people all the time. And, even now you're helping me transform into helping people.
Right.
I think it was funny as a patient with bariatric surgery, you come in and you're kind of focused on the weight loss, you're focused on yourself. Right. And then you finally start losing the weight, and whether you want to post videos or post on social media to help people, that's totally all on you guys. But for myself, I feel like now I'm in the space you're in of helping people. And it just feels so good because it's like you get to see on the other side what they're going through because you've already been through that. And then also you're seeing like, okay, they just need a little bit of help. Some people don't even need you to hold their hand throughout the whole process. They just need a little bit of guidance.
Yep.
And then they figure out the rest. So
exactly.
It's just, thank you for that.
You're very welcome. And that whole thing about paying it forward, I mean, that's what it's all about. And that is ultimately going to help you. When you're helping other people, you're helping yourself.
Right.
Because then you can self-reflect and say, hey, am I saying the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? How can I adjust? And I feel that way about myself in my life too, even my profession. Like, oh, could I have done that a little bit better for the patient? Did I say the wrong thing? Did I say it the wrong way?
Right.
So I'm constantly improving. So even though I've won these awards, which means a lot to me, what means more to me is the success of the patients, for sure. Just to see quality of life change, and it's the personal stories that touch me so much. Like when patients say, I went on an airplane for the first time in 10 years, or I'm able to cross my legs, or I can sit on the floor and play with my grandkids. The everyday things that some of us take for granted. That means so much to that person because it's so personal. No price.
And it's like everyone's journey is so personal and relatable to them. And it's just, I feel like it's amazing when you see them get their life back and they're just so happy. They're a different person.
Definitely.
It's like, I still, to this day, I will always say I don't regret getting this surgery.
Love that.
I don't.
Love that.
And I tell every person that, I'm like, it might be hard. You may have complications, you might not.
Right.
But if you do, I can help you, or there's different resources out there, but you will not regret the surgery at all.
Yeah.
At all.
That's a really great topic that you talked about, like complications.
Yeah.
So
we should touch on that.
Yeah, I think it's really important to talk about what these potential nutrition complications are. Now, remember, I have a doctorate, right? So, but I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a surgeon. So I'm not talking about the surgical complications. I'm talking about the potential nutritional complications because, I am a registered dietitian. And I can tell you, being in practice for 25 years, I've seen the good, bad, and ugly. Now, the good news is I don't see too much ugly anymore, but there's still some ugly that happens, and I want you to be aware of what this ugly can be so you can avoid it. You know, it's a big responsibility getting metabolic and bariatric surgery. It's not a weight loss surgery. You know, this is a metabolic surgery. You have to take care of your tool. I mean, I know we always joke about sports cars because we love sports cars, but, you know, if you get your dream car, aren't you going to take care of it? You're not going to, you know, be mean to it or put the wrong gas in it. You know, it's the same thing with your tool, your metabolic tool. This is changing your life. You've got to take care of it, and it's going to take care of you for the rest of your life. And the reason why a lot of patients have to go through all of this different stuff before you get the surgery is because we, the practitioners, know there is a potential risk to surgery, right? Nutritionally. And some of these nutrition risks you might not see for years. And I'm always saying to patients, look, I don't want you to exchange one problem for another because that thing that you're exchanging it with can actually be worse. I mean, it can really hurt the quality of your life. I mean, can you imagine getting metabolic and bariatric surgery, doing all this hard work to get to a goal weight, you're living a life that you're really enjoying, but you don't take your vitamins. So now you end up with broken bones, you end up with neuropathy, you end up in a wheelchair, you end up with early dementia. And I know some of that sounds so scary, and my purpose today is not to scare anybody, but to, again, educate, because some of you might have had the education, but kind of need the reminders, and some of you might not have had the education, and you got metabolic and bariatric surgery, you may not even be aware of how important certain things are. Getting your protein, having your fluids, eating fiber, taking your vitamins, all these things that we ask you to do, there's a reason for it. It's because you're taking care of your tool that's going to be taking care of you. So did you want to talk about any of your nutrition issues that you might have had in the beginning?
Sure. Yeah, let's tap into that. Because I had a bunch. I think first off was I think I started out my vitamins maybe a little too early, I think.
When did you start them?
I think it was during the soft food stages. I think when I finally
How many weeks post-op was that?
It was about, well, that was like right before the gym. So it had to be somewhere in that 5 to like 8 week range. I don't know exactly.
That's not too early, though.
It's not too early?
No, you know, when you look at different protocols, there is not one single standardized bariatric protocol. I think that's what gets confusing to some people. Because I advise my patients to start vitamins 2 weeks post-op.
2 weeks, okay.
Whereas I know other programs, they start 4 weeks, and other programs start right away. So there isn't a standardized, but what I try to do with the 2 weeks is I know the first 2 weeks pretty rough, just coming out of surgery, you're having a hard time even drinking fluids. I don't want to put vitamins on top of that. So that's why I hold off for the 2 weeks. So if you're saying that you started it 4 weeks post-op, 5 weeks post-op, I don't think that was too early.
I think I know why. I think because the first 2 weeks I couldn't swallow a lot. Like I had a lot of pain, and I just couldn't get any fluids down, which is why I was dehydrated really bad. And I think going into that, I just was like, whoa, is this what people were talking about when they said complications, you know? And after that, I think I went to an IV bar, and then I felt fine after that. And then, of course, you know, fast forward, you're home again, and then you're like, okay, I'm still not drinking as much. What is going on?
What were the symptoms? Like, how did you know you were dehydrated?
So there was one time where I was sitting on the toilet, and then I got up, and then I nearly passed out.
Wow.
And I just was like, whoa, like something's wrong. But then I researched it, and then I saw like on Facebook groups, things like that, people went through the same thing, and they're like, yeah, you're dehydrated. So I'm like, okay, I'm obviously not drinking enough. And then just many times just getting up too fast, or if I went on walks and I was walking too fast, I would start to realize like, okay, like I just get the lightheaded feeling. So once I started seeing different signs like that, I'm like, you have to drink more. So then I just got to the point where I was forcing myself to just take sips like every 30 minutes. Because I'm like, I have to drink something. Because then at that point, I'm like, if I'm barely eating as it is and then I'm not drinking, I'm just like, okay, so, like something's going to go bad. So I'm like, I have to try to force myself. And, you know, I think that's also a good tip too. I think sometimes some people feel like, okay, because my body's not responding right now, you feel like, okay, I'm just not going to do it. But sometimes you have to just push yourself a little bit just so you can get there. Because I think if I didn't do that, I still would have probably taken longer to move on to the next phase of eating and drinking and stuff like that. So I think me doing that, yes, it was kind of drastic, but I had to do it to get to the next stages.
Well, you were really smart, because I can tell you that dehydration is the number one reason for patients with metabolic and bariatric surgery to end up in the ER.
Ah,
Okay.
wow.
And one of the reasons for that is, yes, you can't drink a lot because you're feeling full. Sometimes water feels really heavy.
Yep.
And you're like, I can't even drink this. I'm telling you to drink 64 ounces. It's so overwhelming. Some people weren't good drinkers going into surgery anyway. And then you kind of lose the sense of hunger, thirst, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. So you're not doing it.
Yeah.
So that was really smart that you just said, no, this isn't working for me.
Yeah.
I've got to do something. So that was good. What were you drinking?
Honestly, it was just water and the zero sugar Gatorades that we were talking about, which I still am not a fan of. I still wasn't, but I just was forcing myself, like, listen, I got to drink something.
Right.
And then eventually, once I was able to drink the water and the zero sugar Gatorades, then I was like, okay, let me start my protein shakes. And the protein shake started another complication, which ended up being constipation.
See, you're just segueing into the two most common problems right out of surgery. So as a practitioner, what I'm looking at are complications that happen within the first 30 days. Okay. And then you look at the next 30 to 60, and then you're looking at 60 to 90, and then you're looking at long term.
Right.
So I can tell you that bowel changes, dehydration, top two.
Wow.
So you experienced it.
Yeah.
Sorry about
Wasn't
that.
fun. It was not fun. Constipation is not fun.
Because we're not just talking about, I can't go. This is, serious. It can be serious stuff.
And
Did
it's very painful.
Did you end up in the ER?
In the ER, I was there for like an hour and change, but they had to just, they got to take their tools, do what they got to do.
Right.
Very painful. Don't suggest it. I think if you guys wait more than 3 days, start taking laxatives, start taking everything, because I waited until like probably day 6 or 7. And at that point it's already like, okay, it's not coming out.
It's like concrete.
Yeah.
So usually what I say to patients is, yes, constipation is usually defined as not having bowel movement for at least 3 days. Okay. But with metabolic and bariatric surgery, that's almost considered normal. So what we're trying to explain to patients is, yes, because of the lack of fluid, the lack of fiber, the high proteins from the shakes, that's going to dry you out, literally.
Yes.
So I'll ask patients to take different fiber supplements right away, put them in your protein shakes. There are ones that are unflavored that you can mix, dissolve.
That's great.
It doesn't, you can't even taste it. It doesn't make the product thick, but definitely get that. You can do it as soon as you go home.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
It's like a dextran type, like a Benefiber kind of type product. I'm really nervous about like Metamucil and Psylliums because those get too thick. So I wouldn't do those, but maybe if that could have helped a little bit.
Yeah.
And I always tell patients, hey, stool softeners, even,
those I took the day after surgery.
That's good.
Like that same morning I took it. Yeah, just keep taking them. Yeah.
And
it's funny. Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, because you touched on the bowel movements thing, and even that changes. Like you go from like every few days, and then it's every 2 days, and then eventually you're taking like every single day. But but in order for me to go normally, I had to take Colace gummies, which is like another stool softener type of thing.
Right.
And I took it like 3 straight days after I came home from the constipation at the hospital.
Right.
And I took it for like 3 days, and then out of nowhere, I was just going normally every day. So it's like, I don't know if that just put my body on like a regular schedule.
Well, at that point, were you drinking adequately or no?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was drinking my same water.
Because guess what? That's the first line of defense.
Oh, really?
Water.
Oh, great. At least I know the Colace worked.
There you go. So Colace and water, so that was good.
Yeah.
That was
I don't know. Like after I took it for like 3 to 4 days, and then after that, I was just going normally, and I've been great ever since. So I don't know. And then I think you telling me to take my digestive enzyme, that also helped. Yeah. Depending on the foods that you eat, but everything plays a factor.
So digestive enzymes, just for the audience, there are lots of different brands out there, but what digestive enzymes are, they're not addicting or anything. You can get them over the counter. They're not prescription. but there are a bunch of enzymes that break down the foods and the things in the beverages that you're drinking, like the protein shake. And that just helps digestion. So that could ease the constipation.
Right.
Be careful with laxatives, especially even the ones that you mix in water, because there are lots of different metabolic surgeries out there. And there are some surgeries, like you got the sleeve, right?
Yep.
There are some surgeries like the gastric bypass or the SATI or the BPD where they have these connections. The intestines are connected to a new stomach. And if you do certain laxatives, they have the potential to get stuck at those points. Yeah, so if you feel like you need a laxative, definitely call your doctor before you do it.
Gotcha.
Because believe me, like I said, I've seen the good, bad, and ugly. And I saw a patient actually have a problem with one of the laxatives where it literally got stuck at that junction, and she had to go back in for emergency surgery. And this was only a week post-op.
Wow.
So be careful. The first line of defense about the constipation is definitely water. Definitely your fluids. And some of you are like, oh my gosh, I can't drink water. Okay, then drink the sugar-free beverages, because some people will find that other beverages other than water are easier.
Yes.
Sometimes they do the electrolyte waters and they're like, oh, this is better, or tea is better.
And I've heard people say different brands.
I know.
I don't understand, but those be like essential water.
That.
I can drink better than Poland Spring, and I'm like,
yeah, but you know, there's pH differences in
water.
There's
pH differences, yeah.
You know,
but it's just it's funny how like different brands interact with people's bodies different.
Yep. You know, my chemist friend said to me that, you know, water is a very dense liquid. It has a specific gravity of 1.032 or something that he spewed off. And I'm like, yeah, what does that mean to me? He's like, well, people that have a new stomach, they feel the density, you know, so that's why it's uncomfortable to them. So if you change the liquid, then it changes the property of the liquid, and then it might be more comfortable.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so that's why some patients will say to me, yeah, I can do warm, but I can't do cold. And then I'll say, other patients are like, yeah, I can only do cold. Oh, okay. Yeah, so to me, just play around with it. Is cold better? Is warm better? Is room temperature better? But I think the point is, it's only temporary, right? You finally got to the point where you could drink adequately, bowel movements were regular again. You weren't going to the ER again. So that was good. That was really good.
Yeah. And I think too, I think it was good that I went through that experience, because at least you were able to help guide me throughout that process. And I know not everyone's as lucky to have Dr. Lil with them to help, but she definitely helped me a lot during that process. And, you know, at least I felt like...
let me tell you, it definitely humbles you.
Oh, humbles you. And
you're in the ER with a nurse with a rubber glove. Like, oh, no.
I was like, never again. I'm like, okay, Dr. Lil, what do I do from here?
I know. Sometimes those humiliating experiences. But I think that's why it's so important to have that nutrition education in the beginning. So when we're actually saying, have to get your 64 ounces. We know it's hard. Yeah, we're not being flippant about it and saying you gotta get your 64. We know, but it just means you gotta try. Just like you. All right, this isn't gonna work. I'm gonna drink something every 30 minutes. You know, or I'm gonna try a different beverage to see if it's more comfortable.
Exactly.
That's what you're supposed to be doing. You gotta work with your tool. You never had it before. It's new. You gotta learn it. So that was your first hard lesson, I would say.
Yes. And
literally
a hard lesson.
Sorry about that.
But try everything at home too. I think a ton of people like to just, they feel good, so they're like, yep, I'm going out this weekend, blah, blah, blah. Try everything at home. Different foods, different drinks, different stuff. Like, try it at home, because you don't know how your body's going to react. And you just don't want to be caught off guard somewhere and then have dumping syndrome or something happen.
Oh, let's talk about that. So we'll go from constipation to diarrhea. Have you had dumping syndrome? Oh, all right, tell me about it.
Multiple times.
Come on, I want to hear about it.
Well, the good thing is, since I tried myself at home, it happened at home, so I wasn't embarrassed.
That's a good thing.
At all.
That's a good thing.
But I think just different foods didn't react well with my stomach. I think even soups, right? Like soup. Everyone loves soup in the beginning.
What is a soup?
Well, soup's better than having solid when you don't want soup. Okay. Well, when you don't want solids.
Okay, so don't I always say to patients, don't eat and drink together?
Yeah.
You got to wait 30 minutes before or 30 minutes after. 30 minutes some after. People 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why we're saying that is based on your surgery, like the sleeve is a very high pressure system. Because we just transform your stomach from the size of a football to the size of a banana. But there's still a lot of pressure in there.
Right.
So if you're eating and the stomach's like, oh, yes, it's digesting, and then you're drinking something, it kind of forces that food out of that stomach a little too quick.
True.
So that could cause dumping.
Well, I did mostly broths. Like
so
the broth soup. So I didn't do any type of
broths.
noodles or anything like that. I know some other people have, but I was not trying to mess with that. But it's sometimes it still went through me, like depending on the brands, the different brands and stuff. So I don't know. It just depends on, I guess, the person's body or
Were you drinking it too fast?
Maybe. I think so. Maybe. Could have been.
So again, when you tell me your symptoms, it's almost like we're having a session.
Yeah, it's almost like another session.
I'll ask you, were you drinking it too fast? Was it too hot? Was it too this? Was it too that? Was it too spicy?
That too, And I think too, another thing that caused me dumping was that I was trying spices a little bit too early. I think I was trying because I just was like tired of just the blandness of certain foods. So I'm like, let me just add something.
Right.
And like it tasted good, but then it
really hit. It tastes good coming out.
Oh
no. I'm so sorry.
But it teaches you so many different lessons, you know? And I feel like it's important to try different things.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you'll stick to your same diet that you like and then never experiment, because there's always going to be a time where you're out somewhere and it's not going to be food that you normally eat, or it might
just do a calculated risk though.
Calculated risk, definitely.
Just because what I see is some patients try to push it too much too soon, and then you're getting scared, like this isn't working. Why isn't this working? What am I doing wrong? I mean, I've had patients, and you guys tell me everything, I'm not here to judge, I'm here to help. But I've had patients put like pizza in a blender for the first week. They're having Chipotle and they're pureeing it. I'm like, and I get it. I'm not judging. Look, this is hard to say. Oh, you can't have that right now, and you can't do that right now, and you have to do this. It's just overwhelming, and you're trying to learn your tool, and you're nervous. But yes, I agree. This is definitely your own journey, and you learn from it. But I'm always like, oh, it's never a problem until it's a problem. I don't want you to end up in the ER kind of thing. So dumping syndrome can be caused by eating and drinking together. So that's why we ask you not to do it, because sometimes you might hear the recommendations and like, why do I have to do that? And patients will always ask me, forever? Well, your tool is there forever, right? So we say, yes, forever. And the second thing would be sugars, like high sugar. Have you ever gotten dumping from high sugar?
No, my body reacts fine with sugar. Like how I told you I drink apple juice and I'm completely fine with it. I'm never it's never bothered me.
How much apple juice are you drinking?
There's sometimes I've had like 2 to 3 cups of it, but it's not. I'm fine. I feel nothing.
See, that's why there's not a standardized diet.
It can't be a standardized diet.
It works for you.
Yeah,
but
I'm telling you.
Doesn't work.
I can't believe for a surgery where doctors perform the same surgery on different people, but our bodies will react differently. Yeah. It's so crazy to me.
My stomach's not your stomach.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that's what we'll ask you to do, to watch sugar content. Hey, look, too much sugar isn't good for us anyway. Yeah. So, but sugar can cause that dumping, excessive fat, eating too fast, eating and drinking together. Right. So that's what can cause that diarrhea. And dumping syndrome it's not nice. I mean, you feel like it's not just the diarrhea. You're getting gassy. You have abdominal pain. You feel sweaty, almost like you're going to pass out.
Actually, now that you bring up the passing out one.
Oh, okay.
I did.
Tell me.
No. It was for my dad's birthday. So I love Bonefish Grill because I always love seafood. Okay. So I love Bonefish Grill. Yeah. And I always have the same food every time I go. I get an imperial cod, right? It's a nice fish, right? And they add their signature cheese sauce on there. Okay. But I don't put all the cheese on there because I don't need all the fat. I just put like a little bit. Right. I still love cheese though. And then I don't know what was happening, Dr. Lowe. I'm eating. I had like 2 to 3 bites. Right. And then out of nowhere, I start sweating. Yeah. And I'm like, but then it got to a point where, when like it feels like your ears are ringing almost and like you can't hear much. Yep. And I'm like, what is going on? Yep. So I start panicking kind of, but I'm not trying to make a scene because it's like my family's there. So I'm like, you know what, let me just go to the bathroom. Right. And then I just got up, walked around, went to the bathroom, came back. Right. And then I drank some more water and then I finally was feeling better.
It's awful.
But that kind of scared me because I'm like, whoa. Like I actually felt like I was going to pass out. Like if I ate more, I felt like I definitely would have because my whole body was sweating.
Did you get foamy?
I didn't get foamy.
No.
Well, probably because I asked to have some more of like the water and stuff
Right.
afterwards. But if I didn't, possibly because I
Wow.
felt like my ears were ringing, I'm
Yeah.
sweating. My family's like, "Is everything okay?" I'm like,
Right.
"I don't know what's going on."
That's dumping.
Oh yeah.
So dumping syndrome is just a general term,
Mm-hmm.
but we have early dumping and late dumping. So you
Okay.
experienced an early dumping, which could have been maybe the sauce had some sugar in it, maybe it was
Possibly,
the excess fat, maybe you ate and drank too soon together, but your symptoms are symptoms of dumping. So dumping doesn't just mean, oh, I've got diarrhea. No, it could also mean you feel weak, you're getting sweaty, you feel nauseous, and this can happen within 30 minutes or so, or maybe even quicker after eating. Late dumping is where it happens later.
Oh.
So now all of a sudden it's like 4 or 5 or 6 hours later, and you're like, oh, I feel sick. What happened?
Oh,
That's a
no.
late dumping.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So now you know what it was. You
Yeah.
experienced it.
Yeah.
Have you had that cod lately?
I actually had it last week. And
Did
I
you
felt
have to
no
say-
symptoms.
So you
Luckily,
must,
no
you might-
symptoms.
well,
Yeah.
you know, again, there's so many
I don't know.
variables.
It's just so
So
many
many variables.
factors.
Yeah.
Even too, like they also might have changed out their chef that same
Maybe.
weekend that I went. So
Maybe.
probably was
See,
prepared
the
differently.
risk you take when you go
The
out
risk.
to eat.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, but I'm sorry. That's so
Yeah.
unpleasant.
Yeah.
I remember I have a patient and she's doing great. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, everything good? What are you eating? He's like, yeah, everything's really great. It's just I have this excess gas. And I go, part of that it's dumping.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, no, I'm not eating sugar. So I'm like, well, let me see what you're eating. And we started to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually getting sugar from his gummy vitamins.
Oh wow.
He was eating 23 grams of sugar from
The
gummy
vitamins?
vitamins. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what was giving him gas. So he wasn't having the full blown, oh, I've got diarrhea and I feel like I'm going to pass out, but he had excess of gas from that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So as soon as he changed it, then
Yep,
he
he
felt
was fine.
normal.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, because it got to the point where he's like, I can't even go to a movie. And that's why I knew,
That's
again,
crazy.
it was hurting the quality of his life.
Right.
So I
right.
wanted to find out, well, what was going on? And he wasn't eating like hot fudge sundaes and candy bars. So I wanted to see what he was eating, and we discovered it.
Wow.
The other thing that causes a lot of gas for some people are sugar alcohols. Now, sugar alcohols you'd be able to identify them by the words, like if they end in OL, xylitol, sorbitol, erythritol. Those are sugar alcohols, and they usually put those things in like low sugar products, zero sugar products. You can have them as bariatrics; they're appropriate, but some people are very sensitive to them, so they almost experience a dumping.
Wow.
Yeah, like I can't have sorbitol. Oh no.
No.
Like sugar-free candy with sorbitol? Oh no, that's
Your
like a
stomach's over.
laxative.
Oh my
All right,
gosh.
I'm gone for the day.
You're going. No.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you
See,
just have to
these are
read
key
them.
things that people wouldn't know or
know.
read on a certain label.
Well, what's
So.
deceiving is that when you look at the food label, it'll have total carbohydrate, it'll say total sugar, it'll say added sugar, but sometimes they don't say contains xylitol or sugar alcohols because that's not a mandatory thing to put on that nutrition facts label. They have to put it in the ingredients. They have to put total carb and total sugar, but not necessarily the sugar substitutes or the sugar alcohols.
Wow.
Yeah. So read the ingredients. I usually try to guide patients that if you're buying products, beverage or foods, make sure that total sugar number are single digits.
Got it.
I don't even like 9 because that's like
too
too close to 10.
Mhm.
Yeah. And remember, you have to look at the serving size because that food label might not be telling you for the whole product. It's telling you per serving.
Right.
So if, just say it's a drink and it's got 2 servings, well, multiply everything by 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think some of the food labels are a little tricky. Yeah.
And do you feel like sodium also plays a factor?
So sodium, a lot of my patients come into bariatrics having high blood pressure. So according to the American Heart Association, if you're being treated for hypertension or high blood pressure, you need to keep sodium no more than 1,300 milligrams per day.
Okay.
If you don't have high blood pressure and not being treated for it, you can go as high as 2,300 milligrams,
Oh wow.
right? So it sounds like a lot, but you have a can of soup.
Yeah.
That's
it's
it.
already-
But you shouldn't be drinking soup anyway. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, salt and sugar and fat, those are the 3 things that, food industry likes to put in their food.
Yep.
because
I love
it's
it.
ultra processed, stimulates the brain to have more.
Yeah.
So I know it can get overwhelming. So it's all about, I don't know, choosing a product. First thing you look at is protein because you want to capture protein.
Right.
And then I always say to patients, definitely look at that sugar because you don't want dumping syndrome. And then if you are conscious about your sodium, absolutely look at the sodium.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we talked about dumping syndrome,
Yes.
diarrhea, constipation, dehydration. Those things happen in the beginning, usually in the journey that you're kind of learning your tool.
Mm-hmm.
I do have some patients that say, yeah, I used to have dumping, but now I don't have dumping.
Right.
Then I have some patients say, I never had it, and now I have it. So remember, bodies are different, time is different, we're getting older. So, if we say, be careful, that means forever.
Forever, guys. You heard
That
it.
means forever.
So I know we touched on those things too. I think, why don't we touch on the dark side of the complications, or maybe to just the stuff that people don't really talk about, but we know it's there.
Yeah.
Have you heard any stories throughout your years of being in bariatrics?
Well, first I'm going to say yes, but then I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
So you're almost 2 years out?
Yeah, I'm about a year and 5 months.
Year and 5 months.
Yeah.
Are you still taking your vitamins?
Every day.
Are you always going to take your vitamins?
I'm always going to take them.
Why?
Just because you scared me with
Okay,
all of your stories. If she scared me, she's going to scare you guys.
That's okay. That's okay. Maybe fear is a little good thing.
It is.
Okay, so just to give you the introduction. So I'm one of the co-authors of the nutrition guidelines for the United States from ASMBS, and I'm also on a working group that's looking to redo some of those guidelines. So what does that mean? That means that I'm the one that looked at the research to say, okay, patients with bariatric surgery need this dosage of this, and they need this dosage of this. Why did we do that? Because we know that having metabolic and bariatric surgery puts you at risk of vitamin deficiencies, no matter which procedure you have. So whether you have the sleeve, the gastric bypass, the BPD, the SADE, all these other different novel, procedures, you have to take vitamins and minerals. You have to take your supplements. Now, which ones and how many really does depend on the longevity of where you're at in terms of the duration of your diet and also your surgery. But yeah, it's forever. Right. And if you don't take your vitamins and minerals, unfortunately, you're at risk of developing metabolic bone disease. Okay, that sounds really serious, AKA osteoporosis. Okay, you can develop neuropathy. Neuropathy is a nerve damage. Look, it's irreversible. You get neuropathy, I can't reverse that, right? Wernicke's encephalopathy. Yeah, that's a mouthful. That's a brain damage.
Wow.
Okay, I can't reverse that, right? You can get early dementia. I mean, lots of different terrible things can happen from a mere vitamin deficiency. So I'm always freaking out. Right. I'm freaking out at surgeons too, saying, you should be agreeing with me that your patients need these vitamins. Like, don't contradict me and say, oh, you got the sleeve, you don't need these vitamins, you don't need that many. And I'm telling you, I've gotten into some conversations with healthcare providers saying, why are you recommending all these vitamins to your patients? Hello, did you read the current guideline? It's encouraging us, the practitioner, to tell the patient, you have to take this vitamin, this vitamin, this vitamin, this vitamin. Now, the good news is, 25 years ago, there were no bariatric companies. There weren't bariatric supplements. People were taking over-the-counter or Flintstones and things like that. But now there are so many bariatric vitamin companies out there. Do your research. They're all pretty good. They're trying to meet the dosages that you're supposed to be having. Yep. But whatever product you're using, whether it's, an over-the-counter brand, which I don't recommend, but I'd rather you take that than nothing. Yep. You have to get your labs done. So periodically get your bariatric labs done, either with your program or your primary care physician, and that's for the rest of your life. Because sometimes you don't feel any symptoms of any vitamin deficiency until it's a problem. Right. So that's what I mean. It's never a problem until it's a problem. And if you have neuropathy, osteoporosis, Wernicke's encephalopathy, some of these things, okay, I'll give you vitamins now, but I can't reverse those problems. Right? So I get really nervous about that because I have seen cases where people's quality of life goes down because now, you progress through your journey, you're at your goal weight, you're having a great life. And remember, problems don't just like you think it happens overnight because you go from fine to not fine.
Right.
And then you realize, oh yeah, it's because you didn't take that calcium with that vitamin D, and now you have osteoporosis. Now you have to go to a doctor, and maybe some medication can help you, maybe some strength training can help you, but you could have avoided that.
Right.
Take your calcium, right? Vitamin B1. Oh my gosh, such an important vitamin. You don't make it. Your body doesn't make some of these vitamins. You have to take them or you have to eat them. And I know you can't eat a lot. So if you can hear how passionate I am about it, it's because I am. Because I've seen so many patients randomly stop. They're like, oh, no, I'm eating a regular diet now. Why do I need that? No, I don't need that. Oh, what? Of course you do.
Right.
How about we take a look at your labs to see what your levels are and then see if we need to add more or see if we can add less. So I think, there are a couple of messages here. I think the first message is take your vitamins. So if your bariatric program has encouraged you to take vitamins, there's a reason why they did that. Second thing, buy your bariatric brands. I think they're probably a little bit superior because they're trying to meet the needs of your surgery. Number 3, doesn't matter which brand really, you have to get your labs done because like you were saying, everybody's body's different. So I might be taking the bariatric multivitamin, you're taking the bariatric multivitamin, and our labs completely look different.
That's the truth.
Right?
Yeah.
And then number 4 or 5, what am I on? 4?
Yep.
Never stop. If a practitioner says to you, hey, Corey, your B12 is too high, you need to stop your B12. Okay, you have to ask them, okay, why am I stopping? And for how long? Because when we look at lab work, we're advising you on what your levels are. So if something is too high, we might be saying, yeah, why don't you bring that one down a little bit? But you always have to remember in the back of your mind, well, they just told me to stop, but I thought I was supposed to take them forever. Well, guess what? As a sleeve, you have to take B12 forever. And if you want me to tell you the anatomy of it, your stomach's small. We took out a section called, well, we won't get into the anatomy, but you can't efficiently absorb B12 from your food because the nature of your surgery.
Right.
That means you have to take B12 forever. Why do some levels go high? You store B12, actually. It's a water-soluble vitamin. You don't just pee it out. You do actually store some of it. So some of your levels might be high. Or maybe you took the B12 before your lab report. Who knows? But what happens is if you stop, it'll start to decline and decline and decline. And hey, maybe you just didn't go back to the doctor because you're like, oh, life got busy. You didn't get your labs done. Now it's a few years later, and you're like, what's going on? My feet are feeling tingly. I'm getting these shooting pains in my hands. Oh, guess what? You have neuropathy now. Right?
Wow.
So I'm really serious when it comes to vitamins and minerals. So we're recommending a bariatric multivitamin. You have to get calcium, vitamin D, B1, B12, iron, right? So I know it sounds like a lot, but like I said, the good news is there are bariatric companies out there that consolidate some of the dosages in different products.
Right.
Just have to do your research and have your dietitian and your healthcare practitioner help you with that.
Right. And
tell me,
how often do you think patients should get their lab work done? Because I know people have different numbers. Or how often do you think they should go?
The first year is the most important, right? Because what we're looking at are trends. So we usually look at your pre-ops because a lot of patients come into surgery with deficiencies already.
Oh, okay.
And maybe I didn't have a time to correct that deficiency. So I usually ask my patients to get their labs again at 2 months, 6 months, 12 months. So I can see a trend. And then based on what your lab work looks like, I'll ask you either every 6 months or at least once a year.
Okay.
And the other message too is if you go to your primary care physician to get your labs done, remember that primary care physicians might just be looking at your general wellness. They're not looking at your bariatric vitamins. So you'll have to kind of give them advice and say, hey, doc, on bariatrics, don't forget, I need to see my B12, my B1, my zinc, my iron, my folic acid. You have very specific vitamins that you want to look at to make sure that they're, equal and they're not going all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure you catch these deficiencies before they happen.
Yes.
Vitamin deficiencies equal vitamin deficiency diseases. Osteoporosis, Wernicke's encephalopathy, neuropathy,
Mm-hmm.
Dementia, things like that.
Yeah, we definitely don't want that.
No, growing
Especially
old
after,
gracefully.
especially having such a good surgery and you're
That's
trying to change your
it.
life and
That's it. That's it. And that's why I argue sometimes with some of my, my friends and my fellow practitioners. I'm like, yeah, great. You did a beautiful surgery. It was perfect. No problems, no complications. But unfortunately, now the patient's in a wheelchair because they have neuropathy because they didn't take their vitamin. So what happened there? Where was the breakdown?
Mm-hmm.
Did the patient just not know to do that? Did the patient take the wrong products?
That too.
Right? Like the guidelines actually say for vitamin B12, you need to take a dissolvable B12,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's an injection going right into the bloodstream or something that dissolves in the mouth,
Mm-hmm.
not a pill. So I'll have patients, it's not enough for me to ask you, are you taking vitamins? Oh, yeah, Dr. Lil, I'm taking vitamins. I want to see which ones.
Right.
Because if you show me that you're taking a B12 as a pill, that's not optimal. You need to take something that's more dissolvable to get into your bloodstream because the nature of your surgery.
Right.
See, that's why it's really important to go to somebody that's very knowledgeable about bariatrics. Even when I look at lab work, I'm not looking at just normal ranges based on the lab ranges.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at normal ranges for bariatrics. So if you had a B12, the normal range based on most labs is anywhere between 200 to 1100. If you were at 200 or 205, yeah, right, that's a normal level. Oh, no, not for somebody that has the sleeve.
Yeah.
I want that to be 500, 600, 700.
Okay.
Right? So you just asked such a perfect question. When should you get your labs done? Yeah, minimum every single year.
Minimal.
At
See,
minimum.
and that's why I don't understand why people act like it's the end of the world when you say take your vitamins. Like it's like, okay, you asked for this, right? You said you wanted a second chance at life. Okay,
Right.
you're finally getting it.
Right.
And now we're just saying just take your vitamins. It's not like
I
it's
know.
killing you to take them. I
Well,
mean, it can be expensive.
it can
That
be.
I can agree on.
I agree with that. But you know what? If you're having a hard time, because look, life is hard. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out to your healthcare practitioners to help you.
Right.
I know that I have a lot of contacts in the field. If you're having a hard time, let me try to help you. Let me at least reach out to some of these companies to say, look, I have a patient that's having a hard time. Can you at least send me a bunch of samples?
Right.
I want to try to figure it out. I don't want you to feel like you're ever alone.
Mm-hmm.
If you're having a hard time, look, I know life happens. It's not easy.
Right.
But I always say to my patients, too, it is a responsibility. And that's what I tell my patients before they're going into the surgery. You got to get your proteins, got to take your vitamins, got to get your labs tested. You know your responsibilities. You buy that fancy car, you got to take care of it. You got to put in premium gas.
Yep.
The repairs are going to be expensive. You know that.
Yes.
But you're choosing to buy it anyway.
Yes. Right.
And I don't mean to sound cold that I don't understand. Of course I do understand. And look, if life happens, you got to reach out to somebody to help.
Right.
We want to help.
Right.
We want to. And I've had patients say that to me. They're like, look, I can't. I can't afford it. I'm having a hard time. It's my rent or the vitamins. I'm
Right.
like, okay, pay your rent. Let me figure out what to do to get your vitamins.
Exactly. And I know not everyone has that help too, but I think at least just knowing that they can turn to someone and just ask,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Even if it's a sample for just a week, just so you get your
Exactly.
vitamins in, just something,
Yeah.
because I think, is there a certain time limit to where people can't take their vitamins? Like, obviously, if someone doesn't take it for 5, 6, 7 days, nothing's going to happen, right? But if they go months on end, of course, you're going to start experiencing different things.
Yeah, it's a good question. Some vitamins, I can tell you, waste really quickly out of your body.
Wow.
So if you were to have diarrhea and you feel sick and you don't take your vitamin B1, I've seen deficiencies of vitamin B1 in less than 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. Oh, Only 2 weeks for that?
Yep.
Wow, okay.
So each vitamin is going to have a different way to store in the body, or sometimes it doesn't store very quick. Sometimes it has a quick half-life. Wow. So that's why we say every day, yeah, if you miss it a day, it probably isn't a big deal, especially if you weren't sick, you didn't have diarrhea, you were eating okay. But remember the nature of your surgery, especially if you have more of a hypoabsorptive surgery like gastric bypass or BPD. You can't absorb a lot of these vitamins efficiently. So even if your diet is perfect, you're not absorbing. Here's a good comparison. All right. So when you look at the American population, statistics show that most of us have a vitamin D deficiency. All right. Yeah, it's the sunshine vitamin. We're supposed to make it. Okay, we live in Florida. I'm not making it. I'm vitamin D deficient.
Yeah.
I have a good diet. I don't have bariatric surgery, but I have that deficiency. So imagine I don't even have the surgery and I have these deficiencies and I'm eating appropriately.
Right.
Right. So yeah, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, if you're not taking your vitamins, rethink that. Definitely rethink that, because you don't want to wait until you have the problem. And that's unfortunately what I've seen. And I think it really underscores, again, the importance of follow-up. Even if you're like, yeah, well, I moved away, or my surgeon retired. Okay, go to your primary care physician. Go for follow-ups to make sure everything is cool. So you can talk to somebody about, hey, what does my lab work look like?
Right.
It's really important.
Yeah. Or one thing I also realized too, not sure how you feel about this too, but for some people who can take their lab work, put it into ChatGPT and have it give it something like that.
Yeah, no comment.
Yeah.
Only
I know some people
because-
feel away only because I've seen that some people just want to know just the basic level.
Right.
Like they don't want to go into detail of knowing everything, but if you just want a basic level, just if they have no one to turn to, or if they say, oh, I can't talk to my team, my doctor, whatever.
Yep.
But I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people willing to help in this community too. I think even if if you can't talk to your doctor or the team, even people on Facebook groups are like willing to help and tell you, okay, this is a healthy range. Okay, but obviously it's not a professional, but at least you're getting help.
Well, I do look at it this way. I think it's really important for each individual to engage in their own health.
Yeah.
So you need to do your own research, whether it's through ChatGPT or Dr. Google.
Yeah.
Right. But really, from a professional standpoint, you want to go back to your professional.
Yeah, of course, definitely.
And the other thing with the vitamins, remember, the bariatric community is amazing. Peer to peer. So I'll have patients say, oh, that person can't get vitamins? No problem. I'm going to buy them for them. Or I have all these vitamins that I can't take anymore.
Yeah.
Let me donate them.
Yeah.
So reach out.
Yeah. There's always someone out there willing to help.
Definitely.
I think,
Definitely.
I've definitely seen it too. Some people are like, yeah, I've bought so much from them that they've sent extra, and then they're like, I don't know what to do with this.
Right.
I'm like, someone out there needs it.
That's
so,
right. That's right. That's right.
Or they should have some type of like bariatric marketplace where like people that have vitamins, sealed, of course, but can just post it and say, hey, I've got extra. Does anyone need calcium, this vitamin, multivitamin?
Well, what I would encourage people to do is research some of these bariatric companies that are out there. A lot of them have their own websites, obviously. They might have their own support groups. If you get into dire straits, maybe email them and say, hey, look, I have bariatric surgery. I'm part of your Facebook group, or I go to your support groups. This is my practitioner. Any way you can discount or send me samples or point me in the right direction. I'm telling you, the bariatric community is a very loving, giving community.
Yeah.
Right? And if they can't do it for some reason, they're still going to give you advice on what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. But let me tell you, I have seen some really horrible things. The good thing is it's not too often that I see it. That's good.
Yeah.
Some of the more serious cases, I've seen people die from a vitamin deficiency.
Oh my gosh.
I can't tell you what that does to me. It just, I can get pretty emotional about it, because how do you die from a vitamin deficiency? How does that even happen?
Right.
But I'm telling you, that vitamin B1, very important vitamin.
Yeah.
Very, very important vitamin. They all are. Remember, our human body doesn't work in a silo. You need vitamins, minerals, proteins, carbs, fats. You need it all. You need certain amounts. And as a patient with bariatric surgery, you might need more of something that I might not need more of because I don't have surgery. Mm-hmm. So you have to be aware of it and take care of yourself. Definitely.
That's why I don't know how people can hear that and not want to take the vitamins.
I know, and then ignore it.
Because it's like, you want to be in a wheelchair? Do you want these type of diseases that can't be fixed, or, you know, like long-term life effects that's going to affect your brain, your body? Like, because just imagine changing your entire life. Now you physically look good on the outside, but on the inside, you've got all these issues.
Yeah.
I can't see myself doing that. And then now hearing these stories, it's like, how can someone sit here and just go, okay, tomorrow I'm not going to take my vitamins?
Right.
Like, you just can't.
But I can tell you, that's why I see. So some of the reasons why I see people don't take their vitamins, the first thing is they upset their stomach. That's the first reason. They're like, they don't taste good. They're hurting my stomach. Okay, let's figure it out. And like I said, we're not in a place where there aren't any products now.
Right.
The industry has really responded. So let's find different products. Let's find chewable. Let's find liquid. Let's find capsules. Let's find meltables. Let's find something that works for you.
Right.
Okay. So that's not an excuse. The second reason why people don't take vitamins, and this is supported by the literature, they forget. Life gets busy.
Yep.
Okay, seriously? Do you brush your teeth? You got gorgeous teeth.
Every day.
You brush your teeth?
Every day.
Would you forget to brush your teeth?
Never.
No, because you know how important it is. You want to keep that gorgeous smile, right?
That's true.
Come on.
It's
Do you want to keep your bones? Do you want to keep your brain? Do you want to keep your heart? Come on.
I think people realize it until it's too late, though. It's like until they either have some life-threatening event happen, then they go, okay, you know what? Now I should take it serious.
Why is that? Is that because we just think, oh, that's not going to happen to me? Oh, that happens to other people. That
Humans just like to learn the hard way, I think. We always want to learn the hard way. We can never just follow the clear path, you know?
That's not the right way.
Yeah, it's not.
No, because then, unfortunately, the consequence is pretty dire.
Yeah.
Like I said, people have died.
Right.
I mean, and even if they haven't died, they're not living a quality of life.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Imagine if you can't work anymore, you can't drive your car anymore, you can't even remember your name.
Right.
You know, you don't. I mean, hello, your life has changed forever. How do you make a living? How do you enjoy life? And crazy. I know you all go into this because you want a better quality of life. It's not just a number on a scale.
Right.
You want to be able to live life to the fullest. So, yeah, I get pretty worked up about it. I really do. And the other thing that I see is that it's just incomplete. People are taking a vitamin D. Okay, great. Where's the calcium?
Right. That's so true. Yeah.
Right? And so, and just remember that as bariatrics, you have special requirements compared to somebody that doesn't have bariatric surgery. Right?
Right.
So that's why, you got to stay on top of it.
Please, for your own sake.
Exactly. The whole forgetting thing, no.
Yeah, how do you forget?
You know, figure it out. That's part of your responsibility as having bariatric surgery. Look, nobody said it was going to be easy. So anybody that doesn't have metabolic surgery that says, oh, you took the easy way out, obviously that person has no clue. Yeah. There is nothing easy about getting metabolic and bariatric surgery. Nothing.
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right.
But but you also, you as the patient, can't just turn around and say, oh, yeah, I forgot. What? What do you mean you forgot?
Listen, I have the worst memory, Dr. Lou.
I hope that's not a B1 deficiency.
No, probably not. But my memory has always been bad. But I think it's from like childhood anxiety and all that stuff too. But I purposely put my vitamins like at the front of my counter. So when I go into the kitchen, it's right in front of me. Like even if I want to forget, I can't. It's all lined up and it's right in front of me.
What makes you take them? You can also ignore them.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, they preach this from before surgery. Yeah.
Oh, they're in my desk, or they're here, or they're here, but they're ignoring them, or they set their timer. Oh yeah, it's ringing. Oh, I turn it off.
Turn it off. No, I still take them only because they just stressed it so much in the beginning, like prior to surgery. Like, you got to take your vitamins, you got to have your protein. And then once you told me those stories, it just was like a switch. Like, oh no, like I cannot miss this. Like, this is important. Right. So now, like, I'll even set aside a budget just so I know, okay,
love that.
My vitamins are going to end at this date around this time. Okay, let me set aside money so I can pay for it, and that's it. So
great tip.
Yeah.
Great tip.
Budgeting for vitamins.
Budgeting.
Yeah.
You know, and some patients will ask me that, hey, Dr. Lily, you're always saying take bariatric vitamins. Well, you know, Walmart's having a sale, buy two, get one free.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm not going to say no
Right.
because I'd rather you get something than nothing. But I'm also going to say, you know what, you need more though.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking an over-the-counter multivitamin. You know what? It's not going to have enough calcium.
Right.
It's not going to have enough B12. You're going to end up buying some of these other things. So
Right.
as long as you know that will work together, let's look at it.
Exactly.
And that's the other thing that I'll encourage my healthcare providers to. Just ask your patient, are you taking vitamins?
Mm.
Okay, they might say yes, but which ones are you taking? Tell me which ones you're taking, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because on the flip side of that, Corey, listen to this story.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a patient that was taking excess vitamins.
Oh,
Because
wow.
some of the audience might be saying, well, is it dangerous if you take too much? And the answer could be yes. Because some of these vitamins could also be toxic. So I have a patient that was taking too much zinc, and it caused a copper deficiency.
Oh, wow.
She's in a wheelchair.
Whoa.
She can never drive again. She has to walk with a walker. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And that's because she has terrible neuropathy because of a copper deficiency. So even though you can go to any store and buy vitamins and get 5,000 milligrams of this, that's not necessarily the right dosage either.
Oh, my gosh.
I have a patient, she was getting a lot of gastritis. She has a sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, no, am I going to get that reflux? My stomach, it's burning. So doctor sent her to me and said, evaluate what she's doing, what she's eating. Let me see. Diet was perfect. I'm looking at her vitamins. Oh, no. She was taking, no joke, 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C.
Oh, my gosh.
Because, you can take lots of vitamin C,
Of
right?
course.
Oh, it helps you get rid of the flu and, the cold season. And the other name for vitamin C? Ascorbic acid.
Ascorbic acid. Okay.
So it was causing acid reflux because the dosage was so high, and she was taking it on an empty stomach. Yeah.
Wow.
So to answer that question that some of you might have, could too much be bad too? Yes. And that's why we recommend certain dosages. We also recommend, not taking them on empty stomachs. Had one patient, he would go jogging in the morning. That was his routine.
Mm-hmm.
But he would take his vitamins, thinking that would give him energy to get through his run. But he said every single day he would have to stop off at a gas station, and he had diarrhea. And he's like, I don't know what was causing that. And I said, because you're taking your vitamins on an empty stomach, you're going running, it's causing diarrhea. So how about just change it around a little bit and take them after breakfast when you get back? He calls me up. He's like, that did it. I got through my run. Perfect. So sometimes it's just the way you're taking them too.
Right.
So if patients say, look, it gives me stomach ache, it gives me diarrhea. All right, let's talk about it. Let's find a better way to take it, or a better product, or a different dosage.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really not that hard when you think about it. You just have to find a system that works, and then just stick to it.
Yep.
That's it.
So your system is, you have a budget.
Mm-hmm.
They're in front of your counter, so you take them every day.
Yep.
That's great. What do you do when you go away? Did you take them?
Oh, yeah. I still brought them with me. I still
so
brought them.
there was no excuse.
Yeah, no, that's and see the fact that everything comes already in the bag, sealed and everything. It's perfect to travel with.
That's good.
So
that's really good.
Yeah.
Some people like to set up those little pill things.
Oh, the pill. Oh, yeah. That too I have, but it's so big. I just was like, you know what? Let me just bring everything and put it inside of one big bag. Right. So then I got to the hotel, set up everything. It was like my own little station, my little vitamin station.
Here we go. So. And actually, some of the vitamins, if you do chewable vitamins, some of them do taste good. I will have some patients say, well, it's my little treat.
Yes.
And I know there might be some, people that say, oh, you really shouldn't be thinking about that as a treat. But you know what?
Some of the flavors are really good.
They are
like
good.
I take a calcium chew from Procure Health.
Right.
Best calcium chew. I've tried multiple brands. Theirs just tastes like a cinnamon, like almost like having a cinnamon raisin bagel almost.
Oh, that's interesting.
But it's like the best, like it's like the perfect amount of cinnamon.
Right.
I don't know. It's like my favorite part of starting the day off. So.
Well, I have to say, a lot of these bariatric companies invest a lot to try to find flavors that patients, are agreeable to. And, that's why going to a bariatric, company is probably a better thing. Over the counter is over the counter. It's just over the counter.
Yeah.
But just remember to take them. Remember to take them.
Yes.
For
Do
sure.
not forget that.
For sure.
Yeah.
And remember that if you have losses like vomiting, diarrhea, excessive sweating, some of those conditions also waste vitamins a lot quicker. So we always have to remember that too. And some people forget that.
Right.
Remember, I have a patient, she had a bout of diarrhea because she had the stomach bug for like a week. It was a whole week. And she's like, there is no way I can take vitamins. I mean, she was so sick.
Right.
By the end of that, her B1 was deficient.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it happened really quick.
Oh, my God. Yeah. So
Yep.
it's almost like when you're going through that now, when it's all said and done, now start taking it again.
Exactly.
Get your body back into routine.
What would you advise the audience then for people that haven't taken vitamins in a while? What would your advice be from the patient's perspective?
My advice would be, obviously you want to take them every day, right? But you just have to get yourself on a schedule, whether it's setting an alarm, whether that means writing it down on a piece of paper. Like, there's some people that I know have said just them saying, take your vitamins, and they wrote it down on a piece of paper.
Oh, cool.
And just seeing the paper and be like, okay, you know what? Let me just go take it. Because it's something about when it's in your subconscious mind, it stays there.
Right.
And if you just leave it there, which is why, like me, anytime I'm doing something, like even today, right? Whenever we film, I know I got to bring the mics, the stand and everything.
Right.
I purposely will have the bag that I'm going to bring, and I'll put the mics in front of where I have to walk to go to the bathroom. So when I wake up, I'm like, oh, let me put it in the bag from now.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's almost like you want to just make yourself aware
right.
of you having to take it. So that's why, like me with the vitamins, I make sure just put them around you, in front of you, whether it's your nightstand. If it can't be in the kitchen, put it next to your bed. You know, so when you wake up, you're like, okay, let me take it. You know,
I love that. You know, because look, we have busy lives. You know, I've got moms and dads that need to take their kids to school, and you're getting on the road to work. I mean, it's just very busy lives.
Yeah,
you know, make it easy for yourself. Be organized.
That's it.
Yeah.
And just like how I said before, I think too, like, nothing beats your health. Like, trying to make sure that you stay on top of it, and so you don't have to go through any of the dark sides of these complications or dealing with these diseases.
Right.
I prefer taking my vitamins. Okay, I don't want to have to be worrying about a conversation saying, "Oh, Corey, I'm sorry, like we can't help you."
Right.
You know, because that's not what I signed up for.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah, it's very devastating.
Yeah.
That part of the dark side of bariatrics, you know, and it's not a blame game. I'm not blaming anybody, but it's, number one, it's only fair that you guys know it.
Yes.
I'll have some patients that'll say to me, well, I got bariatric surgery and nobody ever told me I had to take vitamins.
Wow.
Well, I don't know what kind of place you went to, but the places that do surgeries usually give the education of that. So, you know, and there's so much information out there now. Come on, it's common knowledge. Yes. It really is. You get metabolic and bariatric surgery, you got to take vitamins. Okay? It's common knowledge. So maybe on that sense, the person didn't do enough research. The second thing is, all right, if you were advised to take vitamins and you're not doing it, you have to think to yourself, well, why? Am I just forgetting? Is it, you know, there must be a reason why you're not doing it. So I don't want to discount your reason.
Right.
But now we have to figure out how you can do them.
Right.
Right? So, yeah, it is a big responsibility, but I think it's gotten easier. So I just feel like there is no excuse.
Yeah, especially with all these different brands out here. I mean, there's so much to choose from, you know, and I think there's just no excuse at this point to just not take them.
Seriously.
You know?
You know, that kind of segues into another complication that I've seen, protein deficiency.
Protein deficiency, okay.
Yeah, protein deficiency. So I'll have patients say to me, but Dr. Lil, I'm taking my vitamins. Why do I keep having anemia? Because that's another big thing, right? I'm taking my iron, I'm taking my B12, I'm taking all my vitamins. Okay, you're not getting enough protein. Because in order for you to make red blood cells, you need iron, but you need protein.
Right.
And I know that the foundation of your diet is protein. So how many grams of protein do you eat a day?
For men and women, or just the men?
You personally.
For me personally, I try to get from 85 to about 110.
Okay. And
if I can.
How did you get to that number?
Well, because I know the lovely Dr. Lil says men need at least 80 to about 100.
Yeah.
You know, but obviously more the better, because if you can get more.
Depends on your activity. Definitely depends on your gender. Depends on your surgery too.
That too.
You know, again, if you have a gastric bypass or a hypoabsorptive, what we call hypoabsorptive. You need a little bit more protein. You know, remember that when you lose weight, you don't just lose fat. I wish we can just say lose fat. No, you're going to lose muscle too.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we're kind of optimizing your health, you know, because think about protein. It's everything in your body, everything. Your skin, your hair, your muscles, your heart, your hormones. You know, it's got a lot of work to do.
Right.
So if you're not getting to where you need to get to, you're going to compromise your whole body.
That's a good point.
And look, I know it's hard. Hello, we go back to this isn't the easy way out. There's a lot of responsibility. You know, yes, you're going to struggle, but you have to reach out and come up with strategies. And like I said, you guys are so smart. The community's so smart. Hey, this worked for me. Maybe you can try this. Hey, there's a new product. Hey, you know.
People give great tips.
Yes.
The amount of stories I've heard, or just different ways that people do things, like you'll be surprised that something so simple will change the way you do things on your journey. Like,
I know. And remember, for those of you out there that are just new in your journey and you're really struggling and you're getting a little frustrated, when is this going to get easier? It does, right, Corey?
It does. It gets
like
easier.
All of a sudden, like overnight, you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's easier now.
Yes.
Right?
Life is easier, and you're not having to worry too much about the same things you did before, you know?
Right.
And I'm telling you, once you go back to that normalcy of life, it's just like you feel like a whole new chapter is starting. That's when it's starting.
That's awesome. So. I can't wait to talk about weight recurrence.
Oh, that'll be on our next episode.
Yeah, because that's another complication.
Another big topic.
Yeah, another big topic.
All right.
That was a lot of fun,
That
Corey.
was lovely.
Thank you so much for talking about your personal experiences.
I appreciate that.
I'm glad
and
that
thank
I
you
was able to
for
help.
dropping some gems in there for us.
Of course.
I know the people needed to
Come
hear
on,
that,
you know I like jewelry, so anything that has a gem, you know I like it.
All right.
Thanks,
well,
Corey.
We appreciate you.
Definitely.